Welcome to EFL TV, proudly brought to you by Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, your local community dealer. And joining us to talk footy operations and all the things happening in the Eastern Footy League is the one and only Lauren Wood. G'day, Loz.
Great to be back, Half.
What's happening this week? We got through the opening round last week, no problems. Great to see some teams get a good win last week. A lot of tight contests too. We'll talk more about that with Benny Waterworth later, but tight contests.
Yeah, it was really good, particularly for the opening round. So certainly plenty of interest across the board, big crowds and all that sort of thing. So yeah, as you say, great to see some healthy competition. Maybe
see some future stars, because the EFL has proven to be a very good breeding ground for AFL, VFL in both footballers and umpires.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I guess round one gives us a good opportunity to reflect on guys that aren't in the EFL anymore. So at the end of last year, we saw 9 players drafted into the AFL, which was obviously a fantastic result, including, of course, Tory Dixon from Noble Park's gone off to the Bulldogs, and the big number 1, Jonathan Patton, off to the GWS Giants. So that's certainly a fantastic result from our point of view, and I guess portrays us as a great breeding ground for young footballers coming through. So there's a few that went off to the VFL as well, so they certainly shouldn't go unrecognised. There was 3, I believe, from Noble Park, including Kyle Martin, who was the runner-up in the Chandler Medal last year.
Yep.
And we certainly hear great things coming out of Port Melbourne from Dean Grice, so EFL legend out of Baronia, and he's doing really well. So yeah, certainly a fantastic result.
I've spoken to Gary Ayres about Dean Grice. He's very impressed with that young man, so he's going very well,
That's
as you
right.
say.
We've got to talk umpires too.
Umpires, yeah, how many have we got?
We had 7 promoted to the VFL panel, so certainly a pathway through to the AFL, and a great job done by them.
Now, she was doing good things. Can't believe you sacked him. Moving on to the Parker Family Cup. Tell me more about what that is.
It's a great event, I guess, this weekend when Ringwood take on Heathmont in Division 3. So they will be playing off for the Parker Family Cup. They've done that for a few years now, and there's a bit of a link between the two in terms of the Parker family's contributions to both clubs. So Gordon Parker is a name that resonates with both clubs. He was the mayor of Ringwood for a long time. He was also involved as president of Ringwood and also president of the then EDFL before we became the EFL. So he had a great influence. Down at Heathmont as well, on the other side of things, Rob Parker and Joe Hart Parker have both been presidents down there. So
it's Parker Fest.
It is, and I think Nathan's still playing down at the Jets, so it's, Parker Fest big time. But they'll be playing off this weekend. They've played off 13 times throughout their history. Ringwood have got the wood over Heathmont well and truly. They led 12-1, so I'm sure the Jets will be looking for a bit of redemption. They knocked off Tempe last weekend, so
I like what you did with the Ringwood having the wood thing. That worked for me. Yeah. Lauren Wood. A lot of wood going on here on EFL TV today. Tell me, are there any young guns in either of those teams?
Well, we hope so. We're putting the call out again, as we do at the beginning of every year, for the Leader Young Gun Award. So it's something that's really up to clubs to get their nominations in. So as I mentioned before, it's a great breeding ground for young players in the EFL, and we certainly like to recognise particularly the guys under 21 years old that are really doing great things in senior footy. So I guess this is the plea to clubs to get your nominations in. If you've got a guy that's under 21 years of age, playing senior footy, doing some pretty good things. There's 2 different awards. There's one for Divisions 1 and 2, another one for Divisions 3 and 4. So you need to send those nominations in to Ben Waterworth. He'll follow up how those guys are going, pass them on to Leader, who'll do a really good feature on them. Certainly great to pump up those young guys' tyres. They'll also receive recognition in the record and be in the running for the big award at the end of the year.
Be Waterworth at efl.org.au for those nominations for the Leader Young Gun for 2012. Plenty of kids out there that can play the game. Give them a bit of love and get them in the paper. The grandmothers love that stuff. Moving on to the radio coverage this week. 98.1 Radio Eastern's an outstanding FM station, particularly for their football coverage. Where are we off to this weekend with the Caravan?
Another cup is up for grabs this weekend. It's South Croydon taking on Croydon for the Arndale Cup. So thought we'd feature Division 1 for the first time this year. Obviously they've got round 1 coming up this weekend. So make sure you tune in, as you said, 98.1 Radio Eastern from 1 o'clock PM. Things will be headed up by Ben Warren Smith again. They'll go right through to 6 o'clock. So certainly worth tuning in.
A great coverage. Hopefully we don't have to hear too many times from the Akira boundary riders though.
That's right. We don't like them chiming in with too much banter, but we've got a new one this weekend, so you'll have to listen in.
Right. Speaking of Akira Medical, they're doing great things in the EFL. We mentioned them last week, but they're supporting EFL Sunday.
That's right.
Boundary riders on the Radio Eastern coverage, and of course the opportunity to avoid hours in emergency should you in fact have an injury on a game day.
That's it. As much as we love our footy, it is one of those things that tends to see a few sore bodies around on a Sunday.
That's okay.
So if you do happen to get injured on a Sunday and you're not quite ambulance worthy, I mean, we've all sat in emergency for hours and hours on on a Saturday night. So there'd be nothing worse than sitting there till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night with others going in front of you. So they're providing a walk-in service on Scoresby Road. And basically, if you end up off in the third quarter with whatever sort of injury, if you get down there, they'll aim to treat you within an hour. So it's
much better.
Yeah, that's right. Like a walk-in emergency service, GPs on hand, and that sort of thing. So it's certainly a much better option if you do happen to get injured on the weekend than sitting in emergency.
Akira Medical, 157 Scoresby Road in Boronia. Walk in, walk out, hopefully. Unless, of course, you're lying and you'll have all sorts of bother. But they'll look after you anyway, regardless. Anything else for me, Loz?
That's it for now. We'll see you next week.
Look forward to your company, Lauren Wood. Righto, let's talk some footy now on EFL TV with the EFL's media manager and superstar-elect, Ben Waterworth. G'day, Benny.
Hello, Half. Just good to be back, I suppose, in the routine of footy. Great round one, as you said earlier, with plenty of close contests, but the big boys of Division 1 start this Saturday, and we're very much looking forward to it. And that is the Radio Eastern game of the round, the Arndale Cups we heard with Loz, South Croydon v Croydon. What do you make of this game? Yeah, interesting. Both teams coming off very disappointing 2011 campaigns, I should say. Both Brett Chandler and Ben Delarue coming back to coach their teams this season. Brett Chandler aiming for 6 to 10 wins this season, but he still doesn't think his team can make the finals, which is a bit of an interesting call. So
start of the year, he said that.
Yeah, he started the year. That was in the Connor Ryan from the Leader put that in his little article there. That's a direct quote. So interesting to
playing it down low.
Just playing it down. It's probably a safe way to go at this time of the year as well.
I'm with him.
Big loss for Croydon this weekend. Damien Cupido
Where's he gone?
Was suspended late last year and won't be playing in the Arndale Cup this Saturday afternoon. I understand though, my spy's at Cheong Park, back at South Croydon will be back at Cheong Park this year. The turf is as luscious as Angelina Jolie's lips at the moment. They are looking absolutely fantastic. And I've just got the feeling, Half, that South Croydon on their new home turf, they'll be up and about, they'll win this weekend.
South Croydon to defeat the crosstown rivals Croydon in the Arndale Cup in round one.
In round one.
All the action on 98.1 Radio East, and the commentary team will be there. Tune in if you can't get to the game. Division 2, we had a game last week, and all the other divisions, 2, 3 and 4. Rove will take on Upper Ferntree Gully. Both teams had a win last week.
Very close wins though. Rove only winning by 9 points over Mulgrave and Upper Ferntree Gully by 4 over Donvale. Good to see some younger Rove players getting named the best players. Guys like Nathan Hicks, Michael Bussey kicked 9 goals between them. Gavin Willoughby's a very good player in the midfield. The key here for Upper Ferntree Gully is to try and get the ball in the hands of the guys like Jay Sherlock and Matt Petrarca. Very classy forwards. So if they can get the ball in the hands there, they could be able to possibly sneak a win. I just get the feeling though down at Seabeck Oval, it's a bit of a fortress down there. I think Rove will be able to make it 2 in a row to start the season.
Is there any natural matchup for Jay Sherlock?
Not really. He's a smaller type forward. Both Petrarca and Sherlock are smaller type forwards. So Rove, I'm not 100% sure who, but they'll have to find someone who can not only spoil the ball but also go with the elusive type forward.
Okay, that's Divi 2. Divi 3, Boronia take on North Ringwood at Tormore. That's going to be a very interesting game. Contrasting results for these teams in round one. Yeah,
big time. North Ringwood gave a bit of a pantsing to the Wild Horse Pioneers, 102 points. But Boronia had a bit of a struggle against Warrandyte. They only won by 4 points with the Bloods' Magic Morello kicking 9 goals. He was on fire for the Bloods. But back to this game, I just get the feeling about Boronia, they really need to get the ball in the hands of Jason Heath. He's one of my favourite players to watch in the Eastern Football League, Half, because he's a big forward, but he's a very athletic and mobile forward as well, because he can take marks in the dukes and take them in the breadbasket as well. He's got a great left foot kick as well. I know North Ringwood, they really did make a statement, I think, last weekend saying they're the team to beat in 2012, and I just get the feeling against a classier side like Boronia, I think they'll make another statement at Tormore Reserve on Saturday.
Is there any bad blood after the prelim final last year?
I don't think so. North Ringwood, that was their only finals win in 5 finals over the past 2 years, so I don't think there's any bad blood. There's a lot of respect, I think, between these two teams because it's always a tough contest. I just think North Ringwood will really want to make a statement this weekend.
Okay, that's Divi 3. We move on to Divi 4, and the Eastern Lions take on the New Boys in Town Park Orchards. What a week they had last week. 19s, Reggies and seniors all had a win.
Fantastic. They did a bit of a hat-trick, like what Damien Fleming did when he took a hat-trick in his first test back in 1994. Park Orchards in their debut as an EFL senior club, hat-trick of wins. So congratulations to them. Under 19s, reserves and seniors. So well done to Steve Harrington and all the crew down at Park Orchards. So can they back it up against the Eastern Lions? Well, the Lions are really impressive against a quality unit in South Belgrave last weekend. Stayed with them for 3.5 quarters, but just sort of tailed off towards the end. It's hard to know about Park Orchards. I personally haven't seen them. Really looking forward to seeing them sometime this year. The Eastern Lions, though, some good signs last weekend. Jason Watt in really good form. This game will be at Lewis Park instead of Fair Park Reserve, if you're getting your grounds mixed up, because there's a few redevelopments going on at Fair Park Reserve.
Yep.
Hunchies, Eastern Lions, but you just never know about Park Orchards. The new boys in town, this one will be a close Hunchies, Eastern Lions.
Can they handle the hype though, Park Orchards?
I don't know. They like keeping a lid on it, but at the same time, they love sort of feeding me information. Can we put this up on the website or not? So I think they'll be okay. They'll be a good team this year. I reckon they could possibly push for sort of middle of the road ladder. But we'll see how we go. I just think the Eastern Lions this weekend, though.
All right, well, that's Divi 4. That's all the Divis covered. They're all action this weekend with Divi 1 involved for their first round of the year. And that game, South Croydon v Croydon on 98.1 Radio Eastern, is the match of the day. That's where the caravan will be. And, of course, all the updates around the grounds from the other games as well. Benny, great to see you, mate.
Great to see you too, Half. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week, and we'll look forward to your company as well on EFL TV.